bring back on the Online Safety Act that we were talking about on Wednesday's programme. If you remember, the government had announced that part of the legislation came into force on Wednesday, and that was the issue of false communications. So a person commits the false communications offence if they send a message conveying information that they know to be false, and at the same time of sending it, they intend the message to cause non-trivial psychological or physical harm to a likely audience, i.e. someone who could reasonably be foreseen to encounter the message or its content, and they have no reasonable excuse for sending the message. The question is, who does this apply to? And if you remember on Wednesday, I was asking, did it apply to this man? That, of course, is Boris Johnson. And he was certainly pushing out a message a couple of years ago, which people were viewing and certainly had psychological harm and in some cases a physical harm as well. And of course, we were aware that he intended to do that because we made the point that SPI-B had pushed this out, that the need to use the media to increase the sense of personal threat. So they're clearly going for a psychological effect there. But the next question then is, and we didn't cover this on Wednesday, would this organisation be in breach of such the breach of the law in this case, because they certainly contributed to the psychological harm that was done during lockdown and so on. Well, in fact, there's an exemption. So let's have a look at that. Section 180 sets out an exemption for the false communications offence, including an exemption for recognised news publishers and exemptions for holders of broadcast or multiplex licenses and providers of an on-demand programming service. This section also provides that the offence cannot be committed in connection with the showing of a film made for cinema to members of the public. So we've got to make sure that we understand that if we're pushing out fake news, false information, and we are of the scale of the BBC, no problem there. You get away with that without any difficulties. But if you're a guy with 10 Twitter followers, or ex-followers as it's known these days, you could be in prison for 51 months or so. That's the fairness of the legislation as it stands. There you go. You can take that as it should be. Now, Debbie,